That is such a long time. Well, this is quite the change of my weekly shooting schedule. But we are back. Tim Malarkey, Matt Trigger. This is Foul Ball Talk. Sounds kind of weird saying that considering we haven't filmed in a while. But first and foremost, Tim, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. We got a little bit of life being breathed into this organization right now. It's been a winter that we needed. We still need more. Don't get too far ahead of ourselves there. But
Yeah.
I think it's a winter that I don't think a lot of people thought was ever going to happen.
Yeah. Life got the best of both of us throughout the end of the season and into the postseason. Things just kind of got a little haywire for all of our listeners and our followers.
Not to mention they didn't give us much to talk about there.
Yeah, they really didn't. It's been a really bad year to be a Baltimore sports fan. Completely honest. We're limping through the NFL season right now, but the Orioles have been one of the busier teams in the major leagues this year in the off season. I'm happy with the progress that they made. After sitting back and looking at a lot of the moves they made, especially with the manager, I figure we can start there. You know, Manzolino gone from interim, wasn't brought back to the organization. I believe the only returning coach this year is Buck Britton. So, um, I was a little hesitant. I was a little on Albernaz, but from all accounts, he seems to be like ingratiating himself with Birdland very well. His family's bought in. He seems like he's built a very good staff from all accounts. A couple of former Major League Baseball players on there.
By the way, we do still have our pitching coach.
Yeah. Oh, Drew French. Yes.
Yep.
Drew French.
Good old Frenchie.
Yeah. Hank Conger is our bullpen coach, former Major League catcher. Miguel Cairo is our infield coach.
Here you go.
There we go. Yep. There we go. Heard some great things about Joe Singley. Heard some great things about Lind being our new hitting coach. It's nice to see that they've got a good solid mix of former players and straight up good coaches from what I've seen across social media. That's a very, very, very important thing. Tim, what are your thoughts, man? I know we've talked about this a lot through text message, and it's a lot to go back and rehash because we've been talking about this for the better part of a month now, if not a little bit longer. What's your biggest surprise on this coaching staff, other than Albernaz, obviously?
Oh man, I'll start at the top. Everybody, every report I've read, pundits from the three cities he's been in, players, accounts that have worked with him, coaches that have worked with him, media that have met with him, that have talked with him. Nobody has done anything except sing how his high praises and how awesome he is. I think what I'm most excited about is he's not a monotone stone wall, no energy kind of guy. He's got that thick Boston accent. He's full of energy. He can relate to the youth of this team, but he also has that knowledge and background that made him as much of a candidate that we were one of, like, I think they reported 8 teams, which is all of the teams that were exploring a new manager that were in on him. He was like the coveted name on that board. So if other teams know what it's like and know what kind of coach he can be, then I think it's a good thing that he ended up here in Baltimore. I was a little nervous at first because, as you and I have both openly talked about on the show, how much of the reins is Mike Elias in this front office going to allow a manager? We always used to refer to Hyde as like a yes man. He was do what the numbers say, do what Elias says. So that was a concern at first until they rolled out this graphic that's in front of us. They let this man assemble his own coaching staff. And that was a major kind of decision point that I was looking at. Like, are they going to let him rock? Are they going to let him do his thing? And then you couple in letting him do this coaching staff. And then literally during our major free agent signing, Pete Alonso, one of the major factoring decisions at the table during the interview was discussed by his client, Scott Boras. And he talked about how Albernez walked in the room, spoke to Scott, Mike, Pete for an hour, and Scott pulled Mike aside and said, something just happened in there. That guy you got, Craig, something, Pete's going to play in Baltimore. So the fact that he's doing all of this and then he's going out there and getting a $155 million guy to come play in Baltimore and say the right things that makes a player of that caliber say, I want to play for that man. I want to play in that city. He had to do something right. I mean, you had his ex head manager, his best buddy, Vogt, came to Baltimore for the press conference. Like,
Yeah,
there
that's true.
hasn't been anything bad said about him. So I'm just excited. I'm really excited. Some fresh new blood, someone that can relate to these younger guys. I mean, he's cracking 6-7 jokes at the press conference. Couldn't be more
Yeah.
excited.
I was a little bit hesitant on the hire because I was kind of championing all season long, and even to you in our text message thread, that I wanted somebody with a little bit more experience. Now he's got experience being a bench coach, position coach, all that stuff. I wanted somebody that had some playoff experience to head this team, but it seems like it's working out because we're attracting people to come play here. Um, there was a lot of unknowns about this team going into the offseason, and quite frankly, it's understandable. They had a very bad year. They've regressed yet again. Um, went through 2 managers. You brought in John Mabry to be the hitting coach halfway through the year. You made all these moves. Matt Holliday was kind of like in a satellite orbit around the team, mainly for his son, which paid dividends. But seeing the guys that have signed here and the guys that we've added, I think Abernathy is going to start with a leg up. We still got our core, and offensively we still got our core. There's still a lot of questions as to how this is going to shake out with this roster because there's still some things that are kind of up in the air. So I know you got some graphics over here on the side for Pete and Shane Baz. We'll talk about those additions a little bit later on in the show if you're cool with that. I kind of want to talk about some of the moves that we made earlier in the offseason, mainly Grayson Rodriguez.
We've talked about this a lot on this show, Matt.
Yeah, but I didn't want. This is one of those situations where I didn't want to be right, Tim.
I know.
I said Grayson Rodriguez wasn't going to throw a pitch for the Orioles in 2025. I didn't think he was never going to throw a pitch for the Baltimore Orioles ever again. Like I said, that was like doomsday scenario if Brandon Hyde came back for another year. But my thing is the
He
Orioles
didn't want to be in Baltimore, Matt.
Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean, if you're willing to go to the Angels.
I set you up. Threw it out there when I was waiting for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe a lot of the rumors where, all of a sudden after he gets traded, it's the same thing on the football team or the baseball team when a guy leaves. Oh, he was a problem. Oh, he was this, he was that. The whole organization was a mess for the better part of 2 years. And I'll be frank about the situation. As much as I love Grayson Rodriguez as an Oriole, he had under 50 appearances for the Orioles since he got called up. He was on the IR or the IL more than he was on the active roster. So your best ability is your availability at the end of the day, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you got to be available to throw. You got to be available to play for your team.
Can't pitch if you can't pitch.
Right. And it was the same recurring injuries. I'm not saying the Orioles have the greatest medical staff in the world. But if you're trading your former highly touted pitching prospect for a right-handed outfielder that's below average, if you're trading for a platoon outfielder, Tim, and that's all you've got for Grayson Rodriguez, they know something that we don't.
That's what I was.
The dude's arm's gotta be hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, I was gonna let you roll, but a dweeb like me who reads way more stuff than I need to read. How can I say this? So there's always a market. There's a value for positions, players of the same caliber. Everybody's like ranked, right? And players that fall into certain categories, certain stat lines, where they are in their career, they all have a value on the open market and on the trade market. And sometimes teams go out there and they make deals, they make moves, they make trades that blow what the market value is out of the water. But most of the time that doesn't happen because there's people that are in each one of these front offices that are paid to do this for a living. The amount of research and statistics that goes into this, down to what time the sun sets in certain ballparks and how that compares to what time the sun sets in other ballparks that this player has played in. There is serious science behind it. So these decisions aren't made, easily, and these decisions are worth a lot of money. So the fact that Grayson Rodriguez, a person with several years of control, someone who has had flashes of being a great, who at one time was the number one prospect in baseball, his value was an outfielder with 1 year. And not a star-studded outfielder, not a household name. Is he going to bolster this lineup? Sure. Does he bring a veteran presence? Sure. Is he a ball player? Yes. Do I want to see him in this Orioles lineup 9 days out of 10? Yes. I'm excited for Taylor Ward. But comparing that to a starting pitcher that checks all of the boxes that Grayson checks, what does that tell you the rest of the league's value for Grayson was? Because they're not going to just take the first bite. He was shopped around.
I'm sure he was, but I'm also pretty sure that the Orioles weren't getting the offers they thought they were going to get for him. Because it all boils down to the fact that he's an injury liability.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. His value was There
I'm
wasn't
not
any.
I'm not knocking the guy. I love
No.
Grayson Rodriguez. I thought he
Yep.
was a fantastic prospect. I think that the Orioles, uh, their training staff probably did him a disservice multiple points along the line
And you and I
last year.
both know firsthand that he's also a genuinely good person.
Yeah, that we do, and I just think that he's probably one of those guys that needs a change of scenery.
I agree.
I don't I don't I don't buy into the notion of the overreaction of some of Birdland, like, oh, he's gonna go win 2 Cy Youngs over there.
He's going to Jake Arrieta us.
He's not going to. The guy's elbow's holding on by a thread. That's my interpretation of this trade. If you got a platoon outfielder who's gonna spend time in the corner outfields and is gonna hit 5 out of 7 days in your lineup as a right-handed power bat. Now, 35 home runs, I believe he had over 100 RBIs.
That's my favorite stat line about him,
Yeah.
Matt.
So, you're putting him. I mean, the Angels ballpark is like a hitter's nightmare.
It is.
And now you're going to Camden Yards where after June 5th, the humidity is so high that a pop-up, it could be a home run depending on, launch angle.
Mm-hmm.
I
He hits when
like,
it matters, which we can't
yeah,
seem to do.
yeah. I don't think he's going to be an everyday player, but it also makes you kind of scratch your head because the outfield's still kind of undecided. No,
Mm-hmm.
Cedric Mullins is now a Tampa Bay Ray. After leaving New York, I'm not surprised by that because they're a cluster as well. Um, Colton Cowser, Dylan Beavers. I mean, yeah, she's right though. Stephanie's right. I mean, TJ is a massive procedure. It that goes without saying. Like our guy John Means. Prayers up to him tearing his Achilles the other day. By the way, that was crazy.
Awful.
Yeah.
But no, Matt, the lineup. You were talking about
Yeah.
the outfield,
Yeah.
and I think Beavers is going to be an everyday outfielder. I think they're going to let that kid thrive. I think they're
Yeah.
going to let him bloom.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I might be in the minority with my next thought. You
There's
see,
one outfielder, one position in question in the outfield, and we know who it is.
it's right field.
Mm-mm.
You think center field?
Mm-hmm. Because
Well,
we know who the center fielder is going to be.
I
That's
yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be Cowser. There's no way it's
correct.
not. There's no way it's not, unless we add an infielder, which I've seen a lot of names thrown around. I've seen that we're in on Bichette. So my thought process is, where's Bichette go? He's not going to play third base. He barely plays second base. So do you plan on doing a whole shuffle, putting Gunner at third, Jackson at short, Bichette at second, and then moving Westberg to the outfield? Or do you move Jackson to the outfield? That's a
I,
that's
I
a
don't I don't think we see any infielders or position players brought in. I think we're done. I think the rest of the
I
money will
I
be
don't
spent in pitching.
I I don't think we're done because there's still some things that need to be addressed. We need a utility guy first and foremost. We don't have a.
Jackson.
Do we still have him? Okay. I
Yep.
mean, I was kind of like hinting at somebody in the Jorge Mateo fashion, not necessarily Jorge Mateo, but a guy that can play pretty much six. That's fair, Poppy. That's fair, Pop. It's the pitching's coming. I believe we've made some good moves with pitching so far, and we'll get to that. I think the Helsley's a hell of a signing. I love Helsley. That's just me personally. Um, You trade for Shane Baz. I believe we're going to.
You're not allowed to shame Mateo, by the way.
I'm not going. I'm not going to. I just don't think they're going to bring him back. I think they've let that ship sail. But talking about the offense and the outfield, to kind of round out my thought is you got to let Beavers play every day. But there's a lot of guys on this team now that you have to find either a trade or you have to figure out what you're going to do, because Basayo's going to be on the opening day roster. There's no way you give him the extension and send him to AAA. There's just no way. So he's your DH. He can play first. But Alonso's here. So Alonso's going to play first. He's going to DH.
We haven't even gotten to that.
Yeah. So there's still Adley Rutschman of it all. I'm surprised Adley's still an Oriole after all this moving around. I thought for sure the Basayo extension combined with the Alonso signing was going to be. I thought the next like domino to fall was going to be an Adley trade, and I'm not saying I want that. I was expecting it. I was expecting a catcher needy team to kind of swoop in and come get him, but that's not the case.
They're gonna let Adley and Basayo be the catchers. They're gonna split time. They're each gonna play 80 some games, and it's gonna be the best catching duo in baseball.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, they're two, generational type prospects at the same position in the same organization. And then you got first base, and the thing is, you got Mayo and you got Mountcastle. What do you do there?
I wouldn't be surprised if Mayo doesn't start the season in Baltimore.
But at this point, there's no point in keeping him in AAA. We know he can mash AAA pitching.
Yeah, well, out of Mountie and Mayo and Mountcastle, I think it's inevitable that one of them is no longer an Oriole when the dust settles.
I'm conflicted because we know what Mountcastle is at this point, and he's not going to get any at-bats over Alonso. We know that's not happening. He's not cracking DH. He's not cracking first base over Alonso or Basayo in any form or fashion. I'm totally there. I mean, I thought that was coming. I wasn't hoping it was. I just thought it was. But when it comes to being fair and probably getting more in return, it's probably Mayo that goes. You can net a decent bullpen arm or a fringe starter or a younger starter that you could possibly put in the long role or have compete for that 5. Because right now the way the rotation looks right now is Bradish, Rogers, Baz, Kramer. So you could theoretically grab a 5th guy there.
It's going to be the back end's going to be Brandon Young / Povich / Tyler Wells.
And I personally think Tyler Wells is a better bullpen arm than he is a starter. I think that he needs to be in the back end of that bullpen somewhere.
I can't say that he's a starter or a bullpen until I see the man take the mound again, because it's been way too long.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. I'm in 100% agreement with you. That's one thing that we could definitely agree on. But we have a problem with the backup logjam at first base.
And I think that is clear that one, maybe if not both of them, would be used in trade piece. That probably is what we're holding on to acquire some pitching. I think the lineup, honestly, other than is Colton Cowser really going to be, if you look at 1 through 9 batting order right now, it's top 3, if not top 2, as far as hitting goes in baseball and potential. There is one major weak spot in the lineup, and it's your 8-hole hitter, which is Colton Cowser. And
I don't believe he's an everyday player though.
But I think that based on what their plan is right now, that's what he's going to be. But I'm hoping, if he is the answer in center field that they're going to rock with this year, that not having a room full of youngins and having Pete Alonso in there, Taylor Ward in there, a lot of things people don't realize is that in this lineup last year, there was no protection. And what I mean by that is you had a bunch of young guys that are all trying to figure it out at the major league level. And there was no veteran presence to quote unquote protect these guys in the lineup. No one to lean on. They didn't have a Pete Alonso. Not many teams did. They didn't have a Taylor Ward. There's the way they're structured in this lineup this year is they're giving support to these youngins who don't feel like if I don't go up there and hit the ball, the game's over. They have someone to kind of lean on, which you need. You ask any baseball analyst what a perfect lineup consists of, and none of them will tell you that it's 8 youngins, 9 youngins, that there is a perfect mix of veterans and young. And I think every position is literally spoken for except the overflow at first base and center field. I think between Taylor Ward and Tyler O'Neill, there's your platoon on a corner out there, as if Tyler O'Neill is healthy. Because remember, we paid him money. He ain't going anywhere. He's going to be on this team. If he's healthy, he's going to play. Taylor Ward, we just traded away Grayson Rodriguez for him. He's going to be here. He's going to play. Dylan Beavers, I haven't, next to Adley's calling up and then the signing of Sam Basayo, I think he's third in line for like excitement behind a prospect coming up during their debut from not a fan standpoint, but from how much the warehouse and what comes out of the warehouse and the coaching staff and what people say and talk about. I think they're going to really ride behind Beavers. Your infield is completely set up. It's going to be Westberg, Gunnar, and Jackson. First base, Pete Alonso has played 162 games 2 years in a row. Now, that's not all at first base. He's switching, DHing. That is where the other issue runs into effect. The thing I don't want to see, and this ties into this comment right here, is in a perfect world, your DHers are both of your catchers. So when one's not catching, one's DHing. Everybody needs their off days filtered in there, unless you're Pete Alonso. But the fact that Pete is not going to be able to play first base every day if we want to keep him on this 162 pace means that's another third person to plug in the DH role, which then means that either Adley or Basayo is not playing that day. I think Adley would be able to do a little bit better in not playing every day just because of his sheer experience. I want to see Basayo get as many reps as possible and play as much as possible. So I think that logjam of first base DH is really the only issue right now that this team has as far as position players go. If you compare this line, this hitting order 1 through 9 to any team in baseball, it's top 3. And there's no homer in me saying that. That's it, when ESPN is saying that about the Orioles, it has to be legit because they never talk good about us.
Nope.
I think that log jam that you've described that's in question there is what's going to be used to bring in, bolster the bullpen, and then we got to go get a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
$155 million 1 or 2. We have to. All of this for nothing doesn't make sense to me.
Well, Michael King's off the market. He re-signed with San Diego today, 3 for $75.
And I heard talks with Framber are like fizzling out.
Well, it's not about necessarily fizzling out. I think we're under the same situation with Framber and Suarez.
They want the years.
They want the years that I think Suarez is going to get the years here before Valdez because of the age.
Yeah,
they're 3 years apart age-wise.
Yep.
Suarez is in his age 30 season. I believe at some point this year, Valdez is going to be 33. And there's some worry about Framber that he's, one arm injury away from being completely done. I guess it's because of his throwing motion or like his mechanics or what I was listening to on the radio earlier. Um, I really, really, really wanted us to go and get one of these guys. I think we will.
I
Um,
think this lineup or this 1 through 5 is actually nail on the head there. But
I think Bradish is your ace, though. I agree with Stephanie's. I don't think because honestly, Rogers would be your three before Bradish would. Bradish has proven that when he's healthy, he's top of the game.
he has, but we didn't see him pitch for a whole year.
You're right. We didn't.
We saw Rogers be in Cy Young voting.
Yeah. I hope they get a deal done with Rogers. I really do. I would like to see
Same.
Roger. I would like to see Rogers. Yeah, yeah. I'd take Ranger over Framber as well.
I agree.
My only worry with Ranger is that over like I believe the last 3 years, the velo on his fastball has dropped almost 3 miles an hour. You know, so that I don't know what's going on there necessarily. Um, but if we're not going to sign one of these arms, I really think you got to go get either Gore or Peralta from the Brewers. Mackenzie Gore from the Nationals or Peralta from the Brewers. I think that Edwin Cabrera would be a nice addition to this pitching staff. He's not a one. I'm gonna go on record saying that. He has the same type of look as Grayson Rodriguez. Big, lanky, hard throwing dude, injury concerns. But from all accounts, Miami asks for ridiculous returns for their players. I don't think the Orioles are in any position to trade any of their major league ready or major league level guys for him.
Can I ask you something real quick? Because
Absolutely.
I love Mackenzie Gore. I think he would be great.
I think he would be fantastic here.
Here's the issue. You saw what it cost today to go get Shane Baz. And just for the chat, to recap, Orioles number 6 prospect, Slater DeBron, the highest touted person out of the draft this year. Orioles number 10 prospect, Cade Bodine, also highly touted out of the draft this year. Orioles number 11 prospect, Michael Ferret, right-handed pitcher. Orioles number 30 prospect, outfield, Austin Overn, and a 2026 competitive balance pick. So 4 players that were all in the top 30 of the organization's farm system, all from this year's draft, so as young as it could be, and a draft pick for a number 4, borderline 3, possibly 5 starting pitcher until he gets it together. I think he'll end up to be a really solid 3, and that's where I see him, but we'll get to that later when we look at his stats. But that's 4 top 30 prospects for a pitcher of his caliber.
He's also got 3 years of control left.
He does, but what do you think Mackenzie Gore is going to cost?
Therein lies the question of it's probably going to have to be Mayo. And
what's the market value for Mayo though when we saw that he couldn't hit?
I'm just saying it's probably going to be Mayo and I think it's Mayo and I'm pretty sure Washington wants Bradfield or Honeycutt.
Yeah, I think Bradfield probably carries a lot of value.
I agree. But I mean, do the Orioles want to part with him?
Here, I'm going to get even stickier for you.
I think that they see him as the next Cedric Mullins here.
Do you throw in is there any thought in your mind where a player like a Bradfield or a player like Mayo is tied in with someone that we already know can be a starting pitcher, aka a Brandon Young or a Cade Povich?
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Do you take one of the 3 that you have in question for that 5th, 6th spot in our rotation? Because there's 3 people that are, competing for it.
I think you throw Young in before Povich. That's just me. Because of the age. I believe Young's a little bit older than the rest.
Yep. So,
I would do that. I would do that. I mean, I don't know if that would get it done, but I would do it.
it's tough. I think, I honestly, I was talking about this with my wife earlier. I think the market is screwed up.
Oh, it's definitely screwed up. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
And I'm not talking money signings because that's a whole different ballgame. And that is, of course, screwed up because we can defer contracts into oblivion 50 years down the road from now.
Right.
I meant player value as far as trade values go. I don't know. It's just after today and what I've seen the rest of the league do, I think that starting certified pitchers that are a 1, 2, or 3, as far as a trade, if they're not a free agent, are going to cost a lot.
Here's my thing with Gore. Not necessarily so much Peralta because the Brewers were a playoff team this year. Oh yeah, absolutely, Stephanie. I agree. We set the market with that trade. Yeah, yeah, no doubt about that. 100% agree. The Nationals are so far away from contention that by the time Gore might be leading a formidable team, he's going to be into his arbitration years, if not his free agent year.
Does it ever chap your ass a little bit that we saw the Nationals team literally get created and then go win a World Series before we've ever seen one?
Yeah. I mean, but they also had a once in a generation team.
I think about that way more than it's probably healthy too.
Yeah. I get it. But you had Bryce Harper, you had a rookie Juan Soto, you had Strasburg lights out for that little short period of time. You had a lot of good players on that baseball team, and
Scherzer.
Max Scherzer was in in his prime, his younger prime. Like that's just that's always one of those what ifs. That's always going to be a what if. You know, what if the Orioles could have built the World Series squad out of the Manny Machado years? Because they won the World Series during that time frame with us.
Mm-hmm. So, do we move on to the
Polar bear of it all?
the big thing that none of us thought would ever happen, and it happened?
I'm happy about this. Not just for the simple fact that we signed a big free agent. That's not the only reason why I'm happy, is because I thought for sure Schwarber was going to be an Oriole. I just knew. I just knew that he was going to come down here to the short porch in right field and be a legend in Camden Yards almost instantaneously. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, Schwarber hits like 200, but the dude's a dynamite. He's a good clubhouse guy. There's never been anything negative reported about him anywhere he's been for the most part that I can recall.
There's nothing we could have done about that, though.
Yeah,
we offered the highest, and the Phillies were like, "Nah, we'll give you the same. Stay here."
But the thing is, that he leveraged us, and when I heard that it was down to us and the Boston Red Sox for Alonso, I'm like, okay, same song and dance 2 days in a row.
Here we go. Yep.
Here we go. And then I'm driving home, and the alert comes across my phone. Pete Alonso agrees to a 5-year, $155 million contract.
You sent it to me immediately. You broke it to me.
Immediately. I was thinking to myself, like, okay, we're in business. The Helsley move was cool. Taylor Ward, okay,
Cool.
got some pop. But Alonso, that's a big fucking deal. Excuse my language. That's a big deal, man. That's gonna put asses in seats.
Hell yeah, it is. And I had this conversation with my wife. I said, we can't finish second again. We can't keep finishing second. The deal didn't get done. The Orioles were runner-ups. We can't do that. Take that $150 million that you just offered Schwarber and show me that you are not just, we tried our best. And what did they do 4 days later, however many days later it was?
And
Bang.
I don't see this deal being bad. You can't have it both ways with this. This is such a fickle fan base. You
It
can't
is.
have it both ways, Tim. We bitch that people bitch that we keep all these prospects, and then when you trade 4 of them for a proven arm, it's why did you trade all these guys at positions that they weren't going to see the majors for 3 to 4 seasons,
If that.
if at all. You know, do you think Bodine was going to see catcher behind these 2 that we got?
Yeah, guy who just signed an 8-year deal.
Yeah. Tough luck. Then people are like, "Oh, we never pay guys." And then when you pay Pete Alonso, why are you giving a 30-year-old $31 million in the next 5 years?
Because
If he plays second base for 2 years and he's a DH the rest of the way out, but he hits you 50 to 55 home runs a year and drives in 100 plus while batting 250, 260, I'd pay that a million times over.
Oh yeah, he's gonna like I forget what it was. He would have had 13 more home runs last year if he would have been playing in Camden Yards.
Right.
He would have had an extra 22 RBIs, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Like his numbers are gonna. Even the videos that the Orioles put up of him walking out there and looking at the porch, the first thing they did, he looks down at the plaques on Utah, and
He says he's going to be the first right-hander to hit Utah.
Yeah, the guy's like, no right-handers ever put one on Utah, and he's like, for real? Oh, we got to change that. So I don't know. Of course, his RBI value, his home run pop, all of that is fine and dandy and all. I think he brings more to this team, more value in the fact that he is going to be able to keep this clubhouse in line, show them the way. He's been through the struggle. I don't know if any of you guys watching, anyone listening right now, knows Pete Alonso's backstory, but he was never, ever ranked, touted, told that he was going to be it one day. He, like, trials and tribulations, went through it to get to where he is, failed, kept his head down, kept at it. Like, he's a true, like, rags to riches when it comes to talent level in baseball. He did it. So, you put him in a clubhouse with a bunch of guys that have never failed in their life. He's the amount of, like, wisdom and veteran leadership that he's going to bring to this team, I think, is invaluable. And then he's kind of something to lean on in the order. He's a protection. Gunnar and Westberg and Jackson are not so pressed on it because they know that they have Pete coming up behind them. Like, they can get back to having fun again. The players that we know they can be.
Yeah. See, the thing is, the Orioles didn't just pay to have the bat in the lineup and to have.
Also, this blew me open during the press conference. I was like, what? He just starts talking Spanish to the reporter. I'm like, holy shit.
I mean, he was in New York for forever, so you got to be bilingual in the biggest city, for sports in the country. This now not only provides us with a marquee free agent, it's going to have a ripple effect in the next couple of years. More guys are going to want to come here.
Yep.
But it's also going to show the Boris clients that we got in-house that we're going to pay some money.
Bingo. That was a big deal for me. The fact that we did this with a Boris client and we have 4 more waiting.
Do I believe that we're going to give all those Boris clients that kind of money? No, there's going to be a hard decision or two to make in the coming years. But the franchise is showing that they want to win. After the year that we just sat through, I have confidence that they're going to do what they can, and I'm okay with that. I love the Alonso move. I think that it's going to ignite the spirit of Birdland again. You're going to see a sold out opening day. You know, a lot of Alonso 25 jerseys. You're
She said, "Put some motherfucking respect on that, Matt."
I mean, she teaches English to Spanish speaking kids. So, I mean, okay.
Yeah, so put some respect on it, she said.
Sorry. I apologize, Stephanie. Anyway. I think this does wonders for the guys batting in front of him because you're going to have to pick your poison now if you're going to want to throw to Alonso or Gunner. They're going to be right next to each other in order, whether it's 2-3 or 3-4. It's going to help Adley for the first 2 weeks of the season before he gets fat and starts making TikToks again. Because you know he shows up in February ripped.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm never gonna let that go.
I'm putting my ducks on big year for Adley. I think he just saw a younger catcher get paid from underneath of him and was like, damn.
I don't have any hope.
Right.
That I have a hope for a solid 2 weeks and a fantastic opening day. And then I'm gonna be bitching about Adley from about April 15th until the end of the year.
If Tyler O'Neill's in the opening day lineup, are you taking a home run from Tyler O'Neill for the 5th year in a row?
Yes. Yes.
Is that like is that the statistic that he's going for to be remembered by?
Probably. That, and he robbed us for $50 million.
While we're on it, before we get off good old Petey boy, I just want to show you from a nerd's perspective what 155 million looks like in value. '96th percentile in batting run value.
I don't know what any of this shit means.
96th percentile in on-base average. Okay. 88th percentile in batting average. 98th percentile in slugging. 97th in exit velo. 98 in barrel percentage. 96 in hard hit. 91 in bat speed.
Does all this shit mean he's a good hitter?
That he is in the 96, 98, 97, 98, 96, 96. There's
you can say yes.
Yeah, there's not many more in baseball that are doing it better than him right now.
I'll take it.
That's what 155 million looks like.
I just like that. It says Pete Alonso, first base, Baltimore Orioles. That's my favorite thing on the screen.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, all the nerd shit. That's cool, but I'm just happy he's our first baseman for the next 5 years.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is that there's nobody on the Orioles that you can look at the last 3 years and see 658 plate appearances, 695, 709 at bats, 5 short of 600, 600, 600. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it is. But I'm happy that he's with us.
He's going to play. And if you look down here, he ain't fast. So don't count on too many stolen bags.
Do you think anybody on this show cares about speed? No. You and I are not fleet of foot, my friend.
We are not. We are not.
We are very quick to get to the couch.
I hope he teaches the team how to get their stats down in this category, their whiff and their strikeout percentage down, because he's, bottom 40% in the league, which is remarkable. Which if I were to pull up every single player on this lineup right now, those two categories are red when they're not supposed to be. So we landed the big boy. We got the big polar bear, Matt. He's going to sell jerseys. He's going to sell tickets. He's going to fill the stands.
Pipe dream Kyle Tucker's an Oriole next week.
I heard some rumors today that I'm really excited for, but I don't think. I mean, like I said, I think we're done with position players. I think the rest of the money is going to be spent on pitching.
Where do you think he ends up?
Kyle Tucker,
mm-hmm.
Boston.
I don't think so. I
Where?
don't know. I was thinking the Dodgers.
Wouldn't surprise me. They'll just pay him in 2070.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Tucker goes anywhere in the AL East, he'd come here.
You would think. I mean, did you watch? I'm assuming you watched most of the World Series games.
I did because I was cheering for the Los Angeles Dodgers. My next door neighbor is a Blue Jays fan
Yeah, I couldn't.
and a
I
Buffalo
wasn't.
Bills fan.
There was no cheering in this household. It was just appreciation for the game.
I stay up and watch that 18 inning game. That was
I did too.
treacherous. I think that thing ended at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
I did too. That was rough. That was rough. But I said that to say that let's not forget that we are in a division with some really good baseball teams.
Yeah, but we're going to be a really good baseball team, and I'm surprised I'm saying that, but I think we're going to be a very good baseball team this year.
We do, and I think we score 8 runs a game. But if we score 8 runs a game and our pitching gives up 10, we still lose.
We got some work to do on the bullpen. I don't care what anybody says. Helsley's going to be a good closer here.
Helsley, I think Kittred's going to be good. There's a reason the Cubs traded for him and brought him out to be in the bullpen in the postseason.
Yep.
He
had a 33% K rate. The dude was dynamite in the second half of the year.
Yeah, and your back end right now is Kittredge into Helsley. So
I like it. I'm cool with that.
I still think it needs a little bit of bolster, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would hope that Albert Suarez, I don't know if you saw, we signed him back to a minor league deal. If he can get back into the form where he was in, he's probably one of the best long mans in the game. If your starter flails and you need someone to come in on a spot start, there ain't much production out there that's better than what he did for us. So
we could do addition by subtraction and make sure Yenier Cano doesn't make the opening day team.
It honestly,
did I say something wrong again?
No, it wouldn't surprise me if Cano does not make the opening day team. That I don't think that's even a hot take, honestly.
What's up, Joe? Good to see you, dog.
108 wins is back on, he says. Yeah, I think the Suarez signing, bringing him back on a minor league deal is huge. I think you go out there and get a middle of the bullpen guy, and then you please, dear God, don't let all this be for nothing and go get me a 1 or a 2. I
wanted the Orioles. I've said this to you a lot over the last 2 baseball seasons. Matt Strahm would look fantastic in our bullpen. And he went to the Royals today.
And the guy that I always talked about whenever you brought up Strahm, Finnegan, he signed somewhere. I can't remember where.
But Strahm would have looked so good in the bullpen being our lefty. Mm-hmm. The lefty in the late. I could have just imagined, the wild stash and the long hair just running out of fucking center field and Camden Yards to lock down games late. I thought he would have been great here. And
all right,
the Indiana, Kansas, St. Louis Royals, whatever they're going to be, wherever they end up, they got a good pitcher.
So since we're on pitching, Matt, we got to talk about the move, Shane Baz, that we made today.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit already, but let's dive in.
I do want to set the record straight here a little bit because there's been a lot of slander and interesting takes on social media. And, you kind of touched on it a little bit about you can't have it both ways. You can't be sitting here complaining about us hoarding prospects. And then when we send 4 prospects for a 3-4 pitcher, that everybody's up in arms about it. Now, what I'm about to say, I'm not disagreeing with the arguments that we might have overpaid and that we probably did overpay and that we just probably created a little bit of a dangerous market for us in what we gave up for him. Not saying that that's not true. What I'm saying is your hate and your anger can't be directed at Baz.
No.
It absolutely cannot. Sure, his ERA was over 4 last year. It was his only year pitching in Major League Baseball.
He pitched half of his games in a minor league ballpark, though, against major league hitters.
Exactly.
Let's kind of pump the brakes on that.
there's a couple things I want people to see. He's young, but there's some
I believe
numbers
he's
here.
26.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a five-pitch pitcher. His fastball is disgusting. He throws it 43.9% of the time. Average is 97. He's touching 99. It's there. But if you look at the barrel rate, how that is the stat measured when how much batters are able to barrel his fastball up. 3.8%. His second pitch, most used,
knuckle curve is
is
nasty.
a knuckle curve.
And that's filthy.
And it's nasty. So he's bringing you 99, and then he's dropping off to 85 on a knuckle curve. Barrel rate, opposing batters, 5.4%. The pro stuff ranking, so this category, Matt, I'm not going to even go into it. The higher the number, the better it is comparatively speaking to other pitchers in the league. So you want that number as high as possible and as red as possible. To have a pretty decent, awesome fastball and then be able to go to this dangerous knuckle curve as your second punch, he has stuff. And I think, we've talked about it, change of scenery, showing that his value, having a team go out there and send 4 prospects in a draft pick to say, we want you on this rotation. You are going to be a staple in this rotation for this team. Going over and looking at his report card and seeing he's got 5 different pitches. Now, I know he only throws a slider 3%, but he works from a 4-seam fastball, knuckle, and into a cutter, and then everybody has a changeup these days. He's got it. And
let me ask you
I'm honestly excited for him. I really am.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question about this, though. Season starts tomorrow, and we're done moves-wise. Where does Baz fall in the rotation?
Season starts tomorrow, and we're done moves-wise?
Yes.
Is
Baz your 2 or your 3?
Not even. He's probably my 4.
Okay. Who do you put in front of him at 3?
It's going to be Bradish and Rogers are my 1-2, back and forth, interchangeable. Haven't decided. Probably if I'm going off last half of the season last year, you would have to take Rogers. If I'm going off of career, you would take Bradish. 3 is probably going to be my inning eater for the time being, which is Kramer.
See, I would flip them.
Kramer and Baz.
I think Baz is your certified number 3.
I mean, he definitely can be. He certainly can be. It's just if we're playing tomorrow, I don't know enough about him yet.
I agree.
As far as an organizational standpoint.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you, but what you gave up for him,
he needs to be a 3.
He needs to be a 3.
Correct.
Honestly, if you really want to, the thing about the trade that I want to talk about, I'm not mad at the prospects. I'm mad at the prospects and the pick. I feel like you could have skated by on 2 in the pick, maybe 3 in the pick, but 4 of your top 30 and the competitive balance 33rd overall.
And I'm not mad at the prospects either. I'm not mad at the number of prospects. I'm not even necessarily mad at it at all. I think that we overpaid. I think that we probably gave up too much, but we don't know what the market is for a pitcher right now. That, if that's what I was trying to explain to you about Mackenzie Gore is, look at what we just gave up for Baz today. The market has to be crazy out there for starting pitchers right now. What teams are asking for or want in order to even consider this. So,
all right, Steph, we're on the same wavelength there. I like that.
But the problem is that I don't think when we're having this conversation about Kramer and Baz being a 3 or a 4, that's why we absolutely 100% need to go out there and get someone. There's still a major hole. And let's not forget that we're the Baltimore Orioles, so we probably need 7 starters ready to go.
Yeah. But I think you got that if you keep Povich and Young in the bullpen.
I think you do too. I think we're missing one solid number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think his name starts with Ranger and ends with Suarez.
I would prefer Ranger over Framber just due to the age. I think the only way you really get Ranger is you got to throw him like that
I
6-year
can't post
deal.
that comment, but I hope you see it.
I like the comment that I posted from Gary Williams stole my lawn furniture.
Oh, Mr. Gary is the one that just posted the one that YouTube's going to yell at us for.
Fuck it, post it. All right, you can take it down now.
We're just talking ball.
Yeah. I like it. I like the. That's a meeting I can definitely attend.
Oh, who could Ranger Suarez be? Yeah. Also, I agree with you on the age thing. Framber would probably grade out as the better pitcher, but I think that from what I've heard and what I've read out of Houston is that Framber's not the best guy. His team circulated like it's something weird that you don't see free agents do. I mean, everyone circulates their tape, but they circulated a video of him, like a hype video, but it wasn't unrelated to his skills tape. It was like a look how great of a person I am, where they went around and interviewed like team members and then showed videos of him like giving toys out to kids and like very like off-putting almost, like you're trying, this guy's not a nice guy, so you're trying to make it look like he is.
Yeah.
So
I want to go on record saying this because it does go without saying a bit. If we don't sign Pete Alonso, I'm not even thinking about a starting pitcher coming here.
No, if we haven't signed, if we're sitting here right now with Taylor Ward and Ryan Helsley, I'm probably not as happy as I'm definitely not. We're probably not doing this podcast.
That's fair. That's fair. I just think that if the team showed the willingness to buy a big bat, they can go buy a big arm. And
exactly.
Rubenstein's pockets are deep.
Obviously, there ain't many people on this planet that are deeper.
So I think they need to go get one of these guys. If not, if you're willing to move Mayo, Mountcastle, and one of the outfielders to go get a Mackenzie Gore, I think you can go get Peralta for less. I think Mayo and a Fabian gets that done. Me personally.
Yeah, I don't think Fabian has a place here.
If you look at, I haven't. I'm sorry. I wanted to finish my thought. I'm so sorry, Tim.
No, finish it.
I'm looking at all the positions of the guys that we traded today, and there's like I said it earlier in the show, and so have you.
No room.
If people really look at the roster and look at how many years of control left we have on each position that they play, these guys weren't going to be here in this decade. You're talking about a 2030 or a 2031 estimated major league arrival on in Baltimore. I mean, Bodine would have to wait for Adley to either leave or get traded. That's his only way to the major league roster, unless he changes his position. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't a whole lot of room for any of these guys. Every there's major league talent at every position we traded for. So what are people getting upset about? There's no space. Stephanie's right. There's no space. Somebody please tell me where the Broners was going to play in 2029. We're still going to have Cowser. We're still going to have, Beavers. We're going to have Enrique Bradfield up here if he doesn't get moved for an arm. So Bradfield's your future center fielder. So you got, and it's a log jam everywhere. I'd understand if we traded a future star second baseman, but we didn't. We did not. It's not like we traded a future third base all-star. We did not. These guys weren't gonna be here. And people are looking at the positional or the prospect rankings inside. People got to realize that they traded 4 of the top 30 prospects in our organization. They weren't the top 30 prospects in baseball. That's an overpay of epic proportions. You got a certified, bona fide MLB pitcher who is healthy, who is an innings eater, who is gonna be very good for this ball team for 4 guys that you're gonna forget about by July. Like, what are we talking about here? People got to get over that shit. We got an arm. You want trades? This is what happens.
Sure, we overpaid, but we turned our hoarded prospect pool into an arm. It's what it took.
I want to read a stat for Baz in his 3 career starts in Camden Yards. 15 innings and a 0.56 ERA as an away pitcher. So obviously the guy likes pitching here. And I want to say something also that Jim Palmer said on Twitter today. X, whatever you want to call it. Prospects are suspects until they get to the major league level.
Yep.
You never know what they're going to be. You never know what they're going to be at all. So, trade the guys that you don't know what they're going to be for the guy that you know what it already is. He's just doing it in a Orioles uniform now. I'm perfectly okay with that. I think that it was a good move, but it can't be the last pitching move.
Can't be.
It can't be the last pitching move. That's where I'm going to end my soapbox right
because there. If you think about it this way, I'm going to fuck you up a little bit here. We traded Grayson and we got another starter back today. So we've essentially replaced and replaced. In reality, we have not added a starting pitcher to the lineup because we lost one and we gained one. We're still even.
Yeah.
Now, did we get rid of one that didn't pitch for us all last year to gain someone that will pitch for us this year? Sure.
Yeah.
But we're not +1 right now. We're still net even.
You're right.
So there's absolutely no reason that we don't go out there and get another starter. What I'm fingers crossed behind my back, shoes tied, legs twisted, I'll say my prayers 15 times before bed tonight. But what I hope to God doesn't happen is that the organization's plan is to ride it out until the break, till the trade deadline, and see if they're in it, and then make a trade for, a big time starter for the second half. Yeah. That's what I don't want to see happen, because unfortunately that happens. And Mike doesn't have the best track record when it comes to managing a deadline. So,
yeah, I mean, looking at the next tier of pitchers is a considerable drop off. There's Nick Martinez, Chris Bassett, Lucas Giolito, Jordan Montgomery. Jesus Christ.
I'd be surprised if Bassett even entertains anywhere. I mean, they're going for another chance at a ring.
Scherzer, he said he still wants to pitch. You got John Gray. I believe Zach Gallen's still a free agent. It's those guys, but that's a considerable drop off from Suarez and Valdez.
We added our 3. We need a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. You got to go get one of them. Now, I think if you add Peralta, he's your ace.
I mean, I think initially, if opening day was tomorrow,
yeah,
sure. I think after 2 starts of Bradish and 2 starts of Rogers, we make sure Rogers still got what he left off with last year, and Bradish is still the person that we know and love. And then it's, then we have a 1, 2, 3 that's absolutely deadly. But that's the thing. If Bradish picks back up right where he left off and is the same Kyle Bradish that we know and love, and Rodgers picks back up right where we left off last year, adding a 1 or a 2 right now, adding a Ranger Suarez, adding a Framber Valdez, you have a big 1, 2, 3. That is exactly what you need in this league.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That's all in. That's going for it. And that's what scares me is I think that this lineup, hitting wise, can compete with teams like the Dodgers. But you're never going to be able to compete with teams against the Dodgers when you look at their pitching staff. Unless your pitching staff looks somewhat similar.
Yeah.
And
I mean, but they're the outlier. They got 4 number ones.
Yeah, they're paying everybody in 30 years. I did like Rubenstein's comments, though. He said, we're going to spend money, and as long as the rules are the way they are, like what you see the Dodgers are doing, we're going to use that to our advantage, too. And in my head, I'm like, all right, well, you got a lot of catching up to do as far as check writing goes to get to what the Dodgers are doing. So I don't know, Matt. Overall, genuinely excited. I think that we need to circle back here in 2 weeks after we sign a certified starter, and then I'll be much more excited. But until then, that's like the last turning point that they need to prove is that we were serious. Here's your 1 or your 2, or, here it is. So,
yeah.
Until then, I'm about an 8 out of 10. I need to be taken over the top.
I'm around a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I want to see another move for an arm, or they can really surprise us and throw us a bone for a Kyle Tucker or a Cody Bellinger type of thing. But that's just wishful thinking. That's a video game scenario.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. Do not think that that's happening. All right. Well, also, I think you know this, but I don't know if I broke the news to our viewers, but my wife and I are full 81 game season ticket holders this year. We were one of the rare select few that didn't give up faith and will be living in that stadium all year.
Wow.
Yeah, every game. And I had to get my fat boy on. We're club level, so I got the AC, small bathrooms, no lines, out of the weather and the elements.
There you go.
Yep. Excited. I mean, I'm excited to walk in there for the first time this year with the new Jumbotron, all the renovations that they're doing to the entire indoor club level, the fan suite. It's needed it for a while. I hope that they still kept the classic historic vibe of Camden Yards and they didn't get too new agey with it. I mean, as long as the warehouse is still standing, I think that might be hard to do, but I just hope they didn't lose the classic feel, but I'm super excited. It feels great to see the organization spending money on players, see the organization spending money in the stadium. They still have scaffolding up, repairing the sound system that has been detrimental for years. We're actually going to have a Jumbotron that you don't need binoculars to look at. I think it's the 4th biggest in MLB. Ribbon lighting LED all the way around, so they'll be able to, I don't know if any viewers have been to Philadelphia or almost, I would 60% of ballparks now do it, but full on throttle. Yeah. We'll be able to have full on throttle light shows for, the closer, but also it does stuff too, not just for, games, it events outside that bring money into the team. Fan experience. It felt outdated, and it's felt that way for a while. We like to travel around and go hit a couple different stadiums every year, and You walk into any of those other stadiums and you're just like, whoa, welcome to 2025. I love the classic feel of Camden, but I think that there are small things that they're adjusting this year that needed to desperately be updated just to keep up with the times.
That's fair.
So,
yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. I think they got some work to do on the rotation and the bullpen, but the lineup looks to be stacked. The team looks good. Can't really complain about much.
Sure can't.
But this has been a very therapeutic 76 minutes of our night. It's been a long time since we've been on the screen together, Tim. It was good to get back into the groove of baseball. I've been in the football grind for the better part of the last 4 months, so 3 months. So it's nice to talk some O's of baseball.
Oh yeah, big game Sunday night, Matt.
Yeah, I'm stressed about it. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I'm in baseball mode, but thank you everybody for interacting. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a while. Thank you guys for coming back after our hiatus, and we will see you at the next break of Orioles news. Tim, where can everybody find you, brother?
Oh, I was gonna get you with it. I was gonna say, Matt, where could everybody find you? But you beat me to it. Foul ball talk. We're gonna start ramping up here shortly, getting back to as we get closer and closer to March. So get your time requests in. Get ready for that opening day. It's gonna be a big year in Baltimore. Don't stop believing.
Yep. You can find me on Instagram at mtrig89. You used to be able to find me at mtrigwbp on X, but it was hacked. So, and Elon's not trying to help a brother out. So, I lost my Twitter handle with almost 3,000 followers. So, I'm highly pissed off about that, and it's a sore subject. But yeah, I made a new one and I got like 12 followers. So, I'm pissed.
Go drop a follow for the boy.
Yep, you'll be able to find me on there. I'm gonna start building my following back up if Elon doesn't, do his damn job. But I digress. We'll see you guys next week or whenever the next Orioles news drops. Tim, always a pleasure, bud.